Hi friends, welcome to this channel. My name is Laura. Over here, I share my lock journey with you. I'm sharing tips and tricks that I'm learning along the way. My overall goal is that we will all be confident in rocking our natural hair. I also recently started a small business, so I'll be sharing that journey with you. If this sounds like content that you're interested in watching, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And as usual, if there's anything that resonates with you, anything that you find helpful right as you watch this video today, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. This makes sure that other people who are interested in content like this get access to it. So let's get started with hot oil treatments. We've heard people have raved about them. People talk about them quite often. And today I'm here to break down hot oil treatments to you. I just did a hot oil treatment on my hair and I realized that we push this and we tell people that they're good, but we don't really know why. And that's a big piece of this channel. This channel honestly aims to educate you about different things when it comes to hair care. I'm educating by sharing information. I'm also educating by trial and error. So when I try different things, whether they work out or they don't work out, I'm going to be sharing those experiences with you on camera. As you can see, my hair, it's very much moisturized. I feel like it's giving what it's supposed to give, which is not crusty. So why would somebody want to use a hot oil treatment? I'm going to talk about the why, then I'm going to explain to you what a hot oil treatment is. So if you have split ends, if you notice that your hair and your scalp is dry, if you're experiencing frizz, if your hair feels brittle, a hot oil treatment is going to give you that instant boost of moisture. So this leads me to explain to you what a hot oil treatment is. It's a method of adding moisture to your hair that technically uses oils, plant-based oils, but some people do use synthetic oils. For a lot of the oils that are out on the market, if you look at the ingredients, there are additives added to them, so that makes it less natural, in my opinion, because some people might still consider them natural. But if you're using 100% oils, which I'm going to share with you later on today, the ones that might work well for your hair, then it's a plant-based approach to adding moisture to your hair. A hot oil treatment is going to be doing essentially the same thing a conditioner would do to your hair. Now for us locked kings and queens, and I guess if you were wearing a protective style on your hair and you wanted to moisturize it, you would probably want to use a hot oil treatment versus a conditioner. If you think about if you have braids in your hair, the conditioner gets stuck in the braids and it's hard to get out. Similar with locks, conditioner can get stuck. Now some people use conditioner on their locks, which is 100% cool with me on this channel. I'm not trying to sway you one way or another way. I'm sharing with you my experience. So we talked a little bit about why you would want to use a hot oil treatment. Overall, you want to make sure that you're infusing your hair with moisture. The second piece, I told you what a hot oil treatment is. Now the next piece that I want to talk to you about is when would you want to use a hot oil treatment in your hair? Now some people use hot oil treatments weekly, some people use them monthly. It really depends on the needs of your hair, but it is advised that you moisturize your hair quite frequently. I'm more on the side of the monthly. So in the winter months, I find myself using hot oil treatments a lot more because it's dry outside, it's cold, my hair tends to get a little bit more brittle, my hair tends to lose its flexibility, it starts looking a little bit more stiff. So an instant dose of a hot oil treatment usually does the trick for me, keeps my hair moisturized, and I'm good to go. Now I do also want to say that if you suffer from any issue like psoriasis of the scalp or any type of medical issue, a hot oil treatment might not solve those issues. You might want to double check with your healthcare provider just to make sure that this is something you can try. I'm a big believer in plant-based products, so I don't think it would hurt to try, but it's always good to err on the side of caution and use wisdom when we're caring for our hair. I think a lot of times when we watch a lot of videos, or when we read a lot of content that's available to us on the internet, it can seem like that certain things are going to cure certain issues. But I aim to be transparent on this channel and talk about some people have underlying issues that they need to care for, which takes me down a whole nother rabbit hole that hair is not just hair. Sometimes our poor hair health is a result of something that's going on internally, but it's good to know your body and it's good to know your hair. So I guess that took us off. Now, if you are locked, you can use a hot oil treatment at any stage of your lock journey. I will say err with caution. Look at your hair and see what it's doing. Now, personally, I, as Laura, did hot oil treatments on my hair as little as 1 month locked, and it was okay. I didn't experience any slippage, but it is possible that you might experience some slipping locks. You might have to retighten or retwist depending on what method you use. But if you're loosely natural, of course, it doesn't matter what stage of hair. You can use your hair when it's in a protective style, when it's loosely out and it locks. I don't think it's reserved for when you're just advanced in your lock journey. However, I think you do want to be careful just to make sure that your locks don't unravel. Your hair texture is really going to determine what your hair does. Next, we're going to talk about what you would use when you're putting a hot oil treatment in your hair. Now, there are two different ways to go about it. You can use one oil in your hair, or you can use a combination of different oils. Now, on this channel, as I mentioned at the beginning, I want to educate you on how to care for your hair. So this is a part where I want you to take notes, and this is an assignment that I have for you. I'm going to list some oils that I think are great for your hair. Your assignment is going to be to research those oils on the internet and find out what those oils do and determine which oils would be best for your hair. Now, I'm going to give you some recommendations on this video. You're welcome to take them. But part of us being empowered and caring for our hair is us putting in the work to do the research to learn about our hair. Now, you can learn by reading material, but another way that we learn is by trying out these oils and seeing what our hair responds to, what our hair doesn't respond to, because we have to take into consideration there's climate, there's hair type, there's lifestyle that affects how our hair responds to different things. So if your hair tends to be a little bit on the oilier side, I'm going to recommend that you use either jojoba oil or almond oil. These are usually lighter oils that absorb into the hair pretty quickly. So you're not going to have a lot of oil on your hair if your hair is already oily. If your hair is more on the dry side, I want to recommend coconut oil. It is a thicker oil. Fattier oils are usually what is recommended for hot oil treatment. So things like grapeseed oil, olive oil, avocado oil. Now, I used the aloe and avocado oil from the FAIDA Naturals line. If you're interested in that, go ahead and look at the link below where you can purchase it if you're interested in it. But this oil doesn't have just those two oils. It has a blend of different oils that are meant to penetrate into the hair and keep your hair moisturized. With that being said, my recommendations that you use for your oil, either individually or combined, are olive oil, grapeseed oil, almond oil, jojoba oil, which jojoba oil mimics the sebum that your hair naturally produces, the oil on your scalp. Now, olive oil is going to soften your hair. It has properties in it, I'm not going to go too deeply into it, that help your hair soften. So as you're putting together oils, as you're mixing different things, if you decide to go with the combined oil method, you want to make sure that you know exactly what it's doing. This transitions me into a piece where I want you to pay attention to the pre-mixed oils that you might buy for hot oil treatments. So when you purchase oils from the store, I want you to read the labels and see exactly what's going in your hair. You might notice that some hot oil treatments have additional items in them. I want you to take a step and research what those additional items are. And then you make the call if you want to put that on your hair or not. So a little homework. I realized actually that I enjoy sharing information and giving information. And I want these videos to be impactful. I want them to provide you with information that is tangible, that you can actually use, rather than just throwing information at you, because then it will just end up being another hair video. So we talked about what to use. Next, I'm going to transition into how to put a hot oil treatment in your hair. So when you start putting a hot oil treatment in your hair, number one, you want to determine the needs of your hair. You want to assess your hair. You want to look at it. You want to see, is it dry? Am I in need of a hot oil treatment? Or am I just adding unnecessary moisture? Well, I personally feel like you can't go too wrong with moisture. Next, you want to wash your hair. Some people will say you don't have to wash your hair, but I'm going to tell you why you need to wash your hair. Over time, our hair accumulates with, whether it's dirt, oil, sweat, things from our products that tend to accumulate on our hair, and it can create a coating over the strands of hair. When you put the hot oil treatment on, you want to make sure that it hits directly your strand of hair and there is no barrier between whatever's on top of your hair and your hair strand. So an example that I'm going to provide, I love examples, would be if I put Vaseline on my skin, like a thick layer of Vaseline, and I try to put water on it. The Vaseline is going to create a barrier and it's going to prevent the water from going through. I guess skin is a really bad example because skin is not going to really absorb the water, but you get where I'm going with that. You want to make sure that your hair is free of buildup. When you wash your hair, really make sure that you're focusing on your scalp. You're scrubbing your scalp, as I always talk about, to make sure you're getting all that buildup out. If you have locks, these locks along the perimeter of your hair tend to cling on to buildup. So you really want to make sure that you're working through that. That gives you a clean foundation for when you add the hot oil treatment into your hair. Now you want to use caution when you're heating up the oil. Some people heat up the oil way too hot and end up burning. To prevent that, I mean, I'm sure this is very self-explanatory, but oil heats up pretty quickly. So what I recommend is heating up some water, and then you want to add the oil into the water. Now using the FAIDA Naturals oil, I just plop the bottle in there. But if you want to mix your oils, you can just put them in a different bottle and put them in there. What you're doing is called the double boiler method. This makes sure that you're not getting rid of the nutrients and the things that we want in the oil that want to get into our hair. Similar to if you were cooking vegetables, if you cook them way too long, eventually you end up losing the nutrients. So you just want to heat it up to a point where it's able to penetrate into your hair. Now, next, after you wash your hair, you put your oil in your hair, you can take it a step further and use a steam cap on your hair, which I'm yet to try. I'm actually going to try that very soon on the channel and share with you what my experience with that is. But personally, what I do is I put the oil in my hair, massage my scalp, ends of my hair, and I just let it sit and I go along with it. Now, back in the day, I used to wash off the oil because I didn't want the greasy feeling. But this is why it's important to make sure that you're using oils that penetrate and absorb into the hair and don't just sit at the top of your hair. So you can either wash it off or you can keep it. I would highly recommend that you keep it in your hair. And then of course you can use a steam cap. If you don't have a steam cap, you can just put a shower cap, something just to keep the moisture in your hair. I think it's referred to as a greenhouse method. I want you to research the greenhouse method and learn what that is and see if that's something that you want to use for your hair. So next, I'm going to tell you about the benefits that hot oil treatments are going to have for your hair. Hot oil treatments provide moisture to your strands, and you know what I've talked about. Moisture on your moisturized strands lead to less breakage. They give your hair shine. If your hair is frizzy, it reduces the frizz, strengthens your hair. It can help repair damaged hair. It can help repair brittle hair, and it also can create a protective layer over your hair. If you live in conditions where the weather is harsh, then you want that protective layer on your hair to prevent your hair from being damaged. Now, as with anything, when you're using natural ingredients, or I think just anything in general, you want to keep up a consistent routine with this. So when you consistently keep your hair moisturized, and you'll start to see results in your hair. But hot oil treatments are one of those hair routines that I find provide instant results. Like right now, my hair is very, very moisturized. It's not crusty anymore. That is what I have to share about hot oil treatment. So next time you hear somebody talk about a hot oil treatment, you will have some information and you will be a little bit more informed about the approach that you can take in administering hot oil treatments on your hair. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. My question to you after hearing this about hot oil treatments: do you use hot oil treatments in your hair? What is something new that you learned from this video, or something that you did not know? Or if you knew something, what is something that you applied to your hair care practice that was mentioned in this video today? Comment in the chat below to help other people who are growing in their natural hair journey. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate the comments. I can't express how grateful I am for this community that is formed off of hair. But I always say it's not just hair. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.